You know, we've been talking about some stormy conditions, and a lot of us are getting ready for the holiday weekend. Many of you are off already, but we could see some delays. The tropics we're watching closely. We're watching a front move off the southeast, and that's what we watch as we go into this weekend. We're looking live at Tampa, Florida, Naples, Florida. A couple of areas of significant concern as we look ahead into the next week ahead. Basically, we could see a stall front out here. Possible development. What it is going to do is bring a lot of rain. In fact, looking at some of the discussions out there this morning, we could see 5 to 7 inches of rain widespread with the 40% chance of development in the next 7 days. Still something to watch no matter what. Tropical downpours, it is going to soak the Sunshine State. This morning, we have plenty of energy just off the coast, some off of the Gulf side, and I think the Gulf side is going to get the bulk of it. Tampa, St. Pete's, Clearwater, all of you really dealing with this. When you think about tropical moisture in the atmosphere just getting wrung out over this area, it's going to be a concern for us. If you're going to be traveling there, if you've got plans to go there, there is plenty of energy to work with. Now, front starts to move down to the south, eventually starts to stall right over the state of Florida, and we'll watch for an area of low pressure that'll start to develop, and we'll watch closely. It's not quite there, but once it does, if it does, that's going to be the concern because it's not likely to move very much. It is very close to the coast, and we've got right through the holiday weekend. With the rain coming in, I think a lot of this some of these storms could produce maybe 5 inches of rain per hour. So even though we're talking widespread, 5 to 7, 8 inches of rain, some of that could happen in a short amount of time. A couple of scenarios we talk about. Scenario one, the low develops right off the southeast coast, closer to South Carolina or so. The dip in the jets well up to the north, and that will help to tug it and pull it up along the eastern seaboard, but really off to the Atlantic. So that would be scenario number one. If we see this develop closer to the Gulf side of Florida, there's a concern here because we could see some of this move toward the Big Bend over into portions of the south and southeast, right? So scenario two would be definitely more concerning for a wider range of people being affected, especially when we look at where it could be tugged right up into the Gulf Coast states, as opposed to being pulled off over to the Atlantic. Scenario number three, weak low, there meanders for days, and that's also a major concern. When you think about days upon days of rain, tropical rain at that, which is likely going to lead to some flooding. Not only just flooding on roads, but really widespread. Here's a look at what we've got right now for the exclusive Fox weather model, and this is about 6 o'clock this morning, and notice a lot of heavy rain, both sides of Florida. A lot of it starts to fill into the Gulf side. The entire central portion of the state is going to be dealing with this. You can see the front starts to sag on down through the south early Thursday morning, and then we start to watch for some development, maybe even some slow development. If you'll notice here, there's a little bit of a clockwise spin right here, just off the coast of Tampa to the north there. Having said that, look at the flood threat. The flash flood threat is a level 2 out of 4 for today, tomorrow, and even though we're at level 1 for Friday and Saturday, at this point there'll be so much moisture in the ground that it won't take much rain to cause some flooding. That'll be the concern for us. This is a look at the rain still to come. These are estimates for the southeast. Takes us right through Monday. We're talking about Friday, the 4th of July, Saturday, Sunday. Here's where we're talking about. You could see that little spin I showed you. A lot of moisture to work with, not much in the way of movement, easily 5 to 8 inches of rain. And again, some discussions that we were looking at this morning out of Tampa and also the Weather Prediction Center, also talking about maybe some of that could all happen in a short amount of time, 3 to 5 inches of rain per hour. All right, so when we look to the next 3 days, it's just nonstop. Temperatures in the 80s, moisture still in place. We've got some thunderstorms in the mix. And then these storms that we're talking about, if we get some development, these are often called the homegrown tropical systems, right? They're very close to home. You don't have much land or time to prepare. Emergency management and residents have a little time to prepare as well, which is why it's important to watch this closely. As we watch what happens, you get a stall front. You don't have a lot of movement. You have winds coming in from the north and from the south. And of course, that helps us to create some spin. And that's something that we talk about when we talk about these homegrown storms. They tap into tropical moisture, and that is when we see a lot of the flooding. Stay with us as we continue to watch this.